Welcome back to Chester Boughton Cricket Club. Wales are batting first. Wales have had 2 changes to their side from their first round match. Dave Hurst enters the competition. Quality player Dave Hurst. And Lee, you know a lot about Dave Hurst, so just tell us about Dave's pedigree.
Look, Dave's an extremely exciting cricketer. He plays at the Upton Cricket Club down on the Wirral. He's very, very proud to play for Wales today. He's just told me his grandmother is from Holywell, and he's had another fantastic season for Neston. He's represented Cheshire on a number of occasions over the last couple of years, and was part of the Lancashire setup as a youngster, and played many second team games as well. Look, he got 150 last year in our competition, T20 final.
And he's facing up to Marty Henderson, who's probably going to sledge him first ball here. You can't sledge it with that, Marty. That's 4, but
straight away, that just shows exactly what Dave's all about there. You cannot give him any width at all. He's so destructive.
So Marty Henderson normally bowls a good line and length. Just dropped that short, too much width. Not much going for that ball, but we know he's going to come back strongly here. He backs himself all the time, Marty. Same ball. Abbas comes around. It's great fielding from Abbas.
He'll come back for 2 here.
Hayden Page comes in to collect.
I'll tell you now, Wayne, if Marty Henderson continues to bowl that line and length to Dave Hurst, this could be a very, very expensive start to the game. That's a real strike zone for him. You know, as a shorter batsman, he needs to get the ball up to him.
I think he will.
Great response there from Marty.
So Marty's never short of a word. A lot of viewers from Australia will know that. He's a real character of last man stands. Well known in Australia. Plays his cricket in LMS in Ipswich. One of the most experienced players globally in LMS. Over 10,000 runs. Plenty of wickets. So Hughes is the other opening batsman. He plays his cricket in North Wales. Pushed out to Hayden Page.
Straight away, it seems a real good intensity in the field from Australia here, Wayne. I know they were really disappointed with their performance yesterday, and they're looking to bounce back today on day 2.
I've been told that after the game, Marcus North yesterday got the guys together, and it was a real honest talk. He came, wouldn't say hard, but he was very honest in where players could improve, and I think he started with himself and said his performance wasn't good enough. So it's good to see him showing passion and showing the guys that he's not just here to make up the numbers and have a social game. He wants to win this tournament for Australia, and he's really enjoyed himself. And this is young Jake O'Connell, real prospect. Lee, what did you think of him yesterday?
Well, viewers who were listening to us late last night, just before the end of play, I made it quite clear that this is the guy I was looking forward to seeing today. I think he's a real exciting prospect. He bowls a really decent pace, left arm round the wicket. Bowled 2 different lengths yesterday, which impressed me. And this is a young lad who's come out of Brisbane. He's been playing LMS for, I think it's 4 years now, and was the top player in the Australian Nationals. Am I right, Wayne?
Yeah, he was devastating with the ball, and he's also got a good eye, and he clears the ropes.
Comes into Hurst. Just a little bit wide there. I think he was very, very unfortunate there. I think Hurst didn't move his feet at all.
It is a power play overs, and the way the Australians have started, they bowled wide outside off stump. If they're going to bowl that line, you would think they'd go for a 4-2 field. So I don't know if that's a tactics or they're just not quite finding their lines. They've got to go a lot straighter with this field. Got to bowl into the pads, middle and leg. That's better.
That line there is absolutely perfect to David Hurst there. He's got, a very classical looking player. He's going to play the ball on its merits there, and I know a lot of players around Cheshire will be watching this closely. Any ball in and around the top of that off stump's always going to test him.
That's the line. That's very well bowled. Marty Henderson's a good fielder.
Hughes just knocking it down the ground there, just getting himself in. He's on a runner ball.
Jake O'Connell, only 17. He's got number 23 on his back. He's only just turned 17 as well.
Comes in again, O'Connell. Hurst just rocks forward there, lets the ball come in nice and late and drills it through back with a point. I think this is going to be a real learning curve for the Australians here, because obviously they didn't see anything of Hurst yesterday. He's come in, as you may have heard, 2 changes to this Welsh side. So Ian Martin replacing the retired Tom Blackwell yesterday. He got 50, but unavailable today, and they've brought another batsman in David Hurst, and he's started really well here.
I think the Aussies have missed a trick here. You should have a power play, get a guy in backward point. You saw England do that well against UAE.
There it is again. He bowled a bumper yesterday to Mendes of Sri Lanka, which rushed him, and Hurst was not quite onto that. Unusual trajectory of the ball, left arm coming around the wicket, so it just got a little bit big on him there, and he clothed it to mid-wicket. Bowler did a good job to keep that to 1.
Oh, sharp caught and bowled chance. Not easy as the bowler, follow through to take that, but Connell's disappointed, but that's at best a quarter chance. So Marty Henderson back into the attack here. We just got a problem with the live score feed, so we'll keep you updated. The score is 18 after 2. Hurst on 15, Hughes on 3.
Going to continue with Henderson here. I thought he bowled with no real luck yesterday. I thought he certainly deserved more than what he got, Wayne. But he's a real competitor.
He's never short of a word. He hasn't been able to back it up with anything of quality yet, but he beats the bat. Have a look if he says anything.
Completely deceived him there. That looked like a cutter.
There we go. There we go.
Enjoyed that, didn't he? Enjoyed that.
Some of his fielders shouting, "Have a word, Marty." He declined to have a word there, just a bit of a stare. Luke Pittman is watching from Ipswich. Welcome, Luke. Oh, there's going to be a words with Hurst here.
You say about Marty Henderson enjoying a word. Hursty will not be short of a word in response there. Hopefully he'll be speaking to him in his native Welsh there. As Henderson turns and comes into Hurst again. Outside the off stump. Hands go to the head of the bowler there. I think Hurst was looking to run it down towards his third man area. He just got it a fraction finer than he probably hoped. Dwyer with a hand.
Deliberate play, but not to deliberate that fine. Just wide of the diving Brody Dwyer.
Some of the the South African lads have just come behind the comm box there. Ready for their game later on against Singapore. Just in this over, Wayne, Henderson's just started to mix his pace up a little bit. He started to bowl a few cutters, taking the pace off.
Yeah, his experience in LMS is second to none. We'll bring up some stats now. We're getting our statistician just to give us some stats on Henderson, but it's phenomenal how many games he's played and how many wickets and runs he's scored.
They've got to look for 2 here. Hughes has just worked it into the leg side. Hurst has called him through.
Good backing up by Bus.
So obviously Wales are a team put together relatively at the last minute when Bangladesh were unfortunately unable to collect their visas.
So we're going to look at Marty Henderson's stats. Marty Henderson has played 370 games of LMS. He's got a bowling ranking of 252 in the world. He's taken 388 wickets, batting average of 68, bowling average of 20.
I know you mentioned Marcus North before, Wayno. Just having a little look on my Twitter here. He's just mentioned he's got a crunch match today, against the Welsh. I'm pretty sure Wales has got a close place to his heart. He spent a lot of his time in England down at Glamorgan, playing with the Chester Boughton Hall Club captain Will Owen down there. I know they enjoyed a cold drink on a Saturday night at the opening ceremony. But Jake O'Connell here just causing a couple of problems again. Coming into Hurst, 21 off 11 balls. Dave unusually trying to umpire the game himself, which to many people who know him won't be surprised there, but he didn't move his feet at all.
So there's a fine leg, mid-wicket, mid-on. He's got to bowl a bit straighter with this field. It's the option to go 4-2. He hasn't elected that. That's a superb ball. That's a superb ball from O'Connell.
I think he did really well there, Wayne. He forced Hurst back. He's been bowling back of a length or shorter the whole time, and then all of a sudden he's just run one through him. Hurst didn't quite get forward.
And I think that explains why they maybe haven't gone for the 4-2 field. He probably wanted to bowl middle leg, so they've got a fine leg in. They've got a mid-wicket, mid-on, so that's allowed him to attack the stumps. Oof. So Hursty, so I'm going to leave the commentary box. Dave Hurst is going to come and just talk us through his dismissal there, Dave. Some lovely shots there, Dave, but talk us through that dismissal.
Talk you through the dismissal, right, okay. It looked like a wide from where I was, but it's nipped back in, swung in the air, kept low, and then bounced up at the top of off. Is that right, Lee? Is that what happened?
No, when you'll watch it back on the live feed, it was pretty accurately called from me. I thought the ball before. In that first over, Dave, you dominated. There was just a couple of very similar balls where just outside the off stump where you've punched it down into this corner. We've seen that shot many a time. But just with that left arm, how did you find that left arm trajectory around the wicket? It's unusual, that.
Well, he's bowled two pretty. Well, one that was called wide, the other one was definitely a wide as well.
We watched that back on the replay. It was an excellent call from the umpire. You didn't quite move your foot, but
no, to be honest, I wasn't expecting a full ball there. I was expecting him to go short or possibly another slower ball. So I was kind of hanging back and hopefully trying to work him off my hip. Quite full, didn't quite get my foot forward, and see you later.
Just had a text message off Dan Berry, captain of Hyde.
Oh yeah.
He can obviously he's been watching you online. I know you and Dan have had some great rivalries over the years. He said, is that a flaw in your technique, Dave, that maybe some of the opposition bowlers from around the league can now expose?
Yeah, that's it pretty much, Dan. Just bowl half volleys on middle stump for the rest of the season. Looking forward to playing against you when you're back in the Prem next year.
What I was going to say, Dave, so obviously out there for 10-12 balls, you were going at a really decent strike rate. It looks like a lot of fun out there. Were you enjoying yourself?
Yeah, it's a pretty good deck. I think if you take the pace off the ball, that's where you're going to have some success on this. This lad, when he rolls his fingers up, he's getting a bit of bounce like that. There you go.
So this is just so you know, this is Jake O'Connell. We've been speaking about. He's a 17-year-old from Brisbane.
Okay.
He's the top player in the Australian Nationals. So here's your dismissal again, Dave. We're just going to watch. Oh no, it wasn't.
Oh no, it wasn't there.
Sorry, I just saw a short batsman there and presumed it was you. But no, up to that point, I thought Wales were on top here. They were obviously you weren't available yesterday and brought in today to strengthen the batting.
Hasn't quite worked.
Well, don't be too hard on yourself, Dave. We've got the rest of the week to to enjoy it. But they've carried on with Marty Henderson here. How are you finding Marty to face?
Again, I thought he the first couple of balls he tried to put a bit of pace on it outside off, and it just doesn't work here. And then he rolled his fingers over it, and it was a lot more difficult. I think with the small boundary here, he should really be looking to bowl a bit straighter. I think because that's a decent hit out there. But you know he started well, hasn't he? He hasn't gone for many runs, so good start from him. Or was that it? Was it? Looked a wide from here.
But hopefully, Dave, you'll be having a little trundle later on. Get the off spinners out, and so with it being a slow deck, that your bowling should work perfectly.
Shouldn't it? Yeah. There we go. Is this it? This looks could be out. This. Oh yeah, that was out. Little send off from the keeper as well. Remember his name.
No, but look, that's the beauty of this World Series tournament, Dave. Obviously, for the players come from all around the world to play in it, being able to watch it live on Facebook and Sports Wiki had a link on there yesterday as well. At one point, you know, hundreds of thousands of people are watching this all around the world.
It's brilliant.
Let's hopefully some of your countrymen in Wales are picking it up today.
Oh, there we go.
Hit out into the deep. He's not picked it up.
Push.
Just looked like he didn't quite get that in the deep there.
He hasn't picked it up, has he?
Henderson really has had no luck in his 2 games so far. He's bowled really well again today and just slightly misjudged. It looks like the captain Sam Lang out there who batted extremely well yesterday. I know speaking to one of his teammates in the pre-game, he's going to be looking to come up the order. But Henderson comes in again.
Well bowled.
I think that's one thing Australia have done really well, Dave. Obviously, you've been trying to push you and the Welsh boys back, and then just throwing that odd fuller ball in.
Yeah, no, it's a really good start, I think, from them. I'm not really sure what a good total is as I've only played 3 overs. Didn't see much yesterday, but I would say 180. What do you reckon?
That's been the golden number we've been putting out there, Dave.
Okay.
So just a little summary of the scorecard so far. Dave bowled by O'Connell for 21 off 13, and then David Hughes and Tom Williams are just settling in 6 and 4 respectively. They're going to be looking to kick on now with the economy just over 6. So O'Connell's going to continue here down the hill from the Ron Fleet end. He comes in. See, that's a wide.
That is a wide, yeah. He's got that one right. So,
are you? What's your availability for the rest of the week, Dave? Are you going to be around and about? Or?
Yeah, if selected. I'm available. Only live a couple of miles down the road, down now Lee. So, yeah, I'll be here till Friday, and then we've obviously got a game on Saturday and Sunday for Neston. So, unavailable if Wales do get that far.
Well, obviously, being a national call-up, if they do make the finals, then Wales will have to take priority, Dave. So,
yeah, of course, yep.
Like any good sportsman, you'll be aware of that the national selection goes above club selection. But Neston being on the peninsula, it's probably like a country in itself. So I know you're extremely patriotic to the Neston boys down there, and I'm sure a couple of them have been tuning in to watch your short innings there.
That's before. No, just at 2.
So, Dave, if it's all right with you, I'm going to get Wayno back into the box here, and hopefully throughout the week we'll definitely get you back in because I enjoy talking to you. But great to see you out there in the Red of Wales today.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
So that was Wales opener Dave Hurst there. Great to have a little insight into what the players were going through out in the middle. Amazing bit of fielding there from I think is that Zia Abbas?
That's Abbas.
I should really know that dominant figure down at third man, but he's came in with 2 excellent stops so far. Yeah, that's just came from Sam Lang, 100 yards away. That's where we need to be every single ball, Australia. So that's the level there. Jake O'Connell, the bowler, backed up brilliantly by Abbas in the outfield there. He goes in short. It's a high top edge down to the fine leg.
Oh
man! He's just dropped forward there.
Matt Angus.
He did really well to get there, Wayne, but when he's got there, he probably should have held it.
Come on. I think he just misjudged that one. He was there.
And it's 1 short as well.
Have you enjoyed Chester? Have you enjoyed Chester? Yeah, definitely. Nice place. I can't play it. Right.
Yeah, so he was just surprised by that bouncer there. Jake O'Connell. He's from Wollongong.
So which state's that, Wayne?
It's in New South Wales.
Sorry, that was a bit of a geography test there. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I think your knowledge of the states and the places due to your knowledge of LMS is much greater than mine.
Well, luckily in Australia there's only 6 states, so I might be even incorrect on that. But yeah, so...
Well, I'm pretty sure it'll come up on Facebook if you're wrong.
Yeah, so no, Jake, he's his dad also plays LMS. So his dad, I think, is the person that got him involved. They play in the same team. I think they play for a team called the Rock Lobsters, who are a very good team. They always make it through to the last 4 of the Australian national champs. And he was the player of the tournament at the last Australian national champs at the age of 16. The batsman on strike here is Tom Williams from London, number 77 in the world batting rankings.
That's a lovely shot down the ground there. And it's just a single. So, Wayno, you must have a few guys over in Australia who do a fine job for LMS.
Yeah, there's I can see Pete Bowman's watching. Pete Bowman from Canberra. He's been, I don't think he's left his phone or his laptop. I don't know what he was watching on. Pete, what are you watching on, a laptop or phone? But thank you for supporting. There's Phil Callahan in Melbourne. There's Andy Levitt in Ipswich.
As Henderson comes in again. Williams just punches it down to Abbas, who picks up cleanly again. It's been a much better ground fielding performance so far. Obviously that catch has just gone down at fine leg, but the intensity in the field from the Australian team's a lot better as Henderson comes in. And he enjoyed that, didn't he, Wayno?
Yeah.
He snicked him off. Dwyer with a good catch.
Now, Dwyer and Henderson in the same team. They call themselves the second 11, and they've been on a lot of tour events as a team. They were actually in the 2013 World Champs. If you watch this replay, just a little bit of movement. Well, Marty will claim that. Probably dead straight.
What's really interesting, Wayne, is for Wales, obviously, Northern Hemisphere side, playing in conditions that they should be used to. They're not necessarily used to seeing people banging the ball in at them as much. So a lot of these Welsh batsmen at the moment, the weight's just slightly through the back leg. So when they are pitching the ball up, they're not quite getting to the pitch. So it's the 2 dismissals so far. We've had obviously the caught behind, and then the bowler David Hurst, and both players have just not quite got forward. So it'll be interesting to see if some of these Welsh guys pick up on that.
Yeah, I think the 2 bowlers complement each other well. Marty Henderson's more of a kiss the death bowler, where Jake likes to bang the odd one in, and I think he surprised a few batsmen, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of clubs in England looking at him and thinking he could be a good signing as an overseas player. Maybe, don't even know if he's out of school yet, but when he is out of school, I think there'll be a few clubs looking at him.
I've got a funny feeling you could be right there, Wayne. Hopefully he enjoys Chester as a place, and that'll make it a much easier conversation. So at the end of the over there, Australia have managed to restrict Wales to 47 off the 7 overs. I think the Welsh side will be looking to kick on now, and they'll certainly be looking to some of the change bowling now, but it's a bit ominous when Test all-rounder Marcus North is yet even to bowl.
He got a wicket of his first ball yesterday, didn't he?
He did. I bet he thought last man standing cricket was brilliant when he could have just retired on that there. He was the ultimate average. But what I'm going to do, Wayno, I'm just going to take a little step out the box here. I'm going to invite local chairman Jez Lamb of the Upton Cricket Club to step in and just have a little chat regarding how LMS cricket has had an impact on his club, and I'm just going to have a little break.
Thanks, Lee. So Connell to continue. He's bowling his 4 overs through here. Tom Williams on strike, 7 from 9. Still around the wicket. Just that extra pace and bounce. So welcome Jez into the commentary box. Welcome Jez.
Cheers, Wayne.
Jez, maybe you could start off just telling us a bit about Upton Cricket Club and where you play your league cricket and how you go in the season.
Yeah, sure, Wayne. We play in the Cheshire County League. We're in Division 1 and we're currently sat second at the moment, pushing Hyde for one of the the 2 promotion spots, and big game this weekend for the boys because it's first versus second.
Okay, I know you guys got off to an absolute flyer. I've been following that league, and if you watch Williams and Holden continue, tell us a bit. You had a great start to the season, and then I think you had a big lead on Hyde, and then Hyde pulled back. Are you still confident on getting promoted?
Yeah, absolutely. We're 16 weeks in, 6 weeks to go. As you say, we did have a bit of a lead on Hyde. I think their Premier Division quality has come to the fore. Our boys are still picking up good points and battling away. There's some big clubs in that Division 1.
Okay, and we've been fortunate enough to host a few games of LMS at your club this year. How has your club received it? I know you had a few youngsters in your LMS team.
Yeah, it's been brilliant to have you down. We played a couple of games there. The guys have really embraced it. We, as you say, we put out a really young side, gave it as a bit of a development opportunity for the fellas, aided by the experience of Rich Battersby, who I know Lee gave a shout out to yesterday.
So O'Connell's beaten everyone for pace. He's beaten the bowler for pace, he's beaten the keeper for pace, he's beaten Matt Angus at fine leg for pace. Have you been managing to watch some of this tournament?
Yeah, I caught some of last night. So I was trying to chase Lee down to see if he was coming training in the gym, doing a bit of work, trying to work on his fitness, which is clearly needed. But he's used this as a good opportunity to throw in the sick card for this week in the gym.
And we've had a local tournament here for charity, the Royal St John's Hospice Cup, and you guys are through to the final of that, which is a great effort, and you're actually up against Neston in the final, which was Dave Hurst, as we saw earlier. He was the guy that, for those of you watching earlier, whose middle stump was cartwheeling. Really good player, and you guys have got Neston in the final. How are you going to go about that one?
Well, we're just waiting to see when Neston actually want to face us, really, because they seem to be working around holidays when they can get the big guns out. They obviously fear some of our young kids and need the big fellas out. Obviously, Hursty's going to be lacking a bit of confidence after his middle stump going skittling today. So, well, we'll see if we can play it tomorrow, eh?
Introduction of the Marcus North, former international test player, 21 test caps. More known for his batting, but he'll be a clever bowler in these conditions. Yes. Jess, so yeah, it has been a challenge getting a date to be agreed for that game. We've raised £400 for the Royal St John's Hospice, and hopefully in the next week or two we can get that final played. I'm sure your youngsters are looking forward to that. Would you say you're the underdogs in that game?
Oh, massively, but we're on the same pitch. We'll give it a go. Yeah, our guys are just ready for it. Yeah, bring it on.
That's great. And have you got an overseas player at your club this year?
Yeah, we've got a guy called Chris MacArthur who's an Aussie. He's doing brilliantly. He's been with us now. It's his second season. Last year, 850 runs for us, and he's doing really well. He's 650 runs so far for the season. Doing fantastically. He's playing in the LMS side, and I believe Lee had him out last Friday in one of the warm-up games here as well.
And we watch Tom Williams go down the ground into the side screen. So just to come back to that in a second, but Tom Williams, experienced LMS player, he's played 40-50 games down in London Regent's Park. He only got the call up on Tuesday. He drove up on Saturday. He's taken some time off work to play for Wales. So, and he's now backed up a 50 not out yesterday with another strong innings here. He's justifying his world ranking of 78. Yeah, so coming back to Chris, yeah, I actually umpired the game when South Africa played Australia the other day, and I can see why he's done so well. Do you know what part of Australia he's from?
He's from Sydney, plays for the Georges River club out there. We've got a strong connection. One of the guys who was with us back in 2003 when Lee was playing at Upton, it was his coach there. He's now moved on to coach grade cricket. So yeah, seems a really good setup over there that he's playing for.
So new bowler Hayden Page. He was left out in the first game, and he's making his World Series debut. Getting some advice from Birdie Dwyer. They're good mates. Wonder what he said there. That's good from Holden, just pushing it out to the gap between mid-on and mid-wicket. Holden's also making his debut for LMS Wales. He didn't play yesterday. I think he's, if I'm standing to be corrected, but he's played Glamorgan 2s before, so he'll bring a lot of strength to the side, a lot of experience, and Wales will be slightly stronger with the inclusion of Hurst and Holden. Can you just tell me how many games you guys have got left in the season?
Yeah, we've got six games to go. Fortunate we got 4 of those at home and 2 away, so big few weeks coming up for the boys. So should be, yeah, the next few weeks are going to be really defining of how the season finishes for us. Okay,
well, I wish you well on your promotion push. Be good to see another world team in the Cheshire Premier League, so good luck in the last 6 games.
Cheers, Wayne. Appreciate that, mate.
Just want to give a shout out to a few more key members of the Australian backroom team who make LMS possible. Trent Thompson, Kirk Fleming from Perth, Trent from... So we watch his way play out to Boss. Trent Thompson from the Central Coast. I'm sure they're all up watching this game. Shout out to Joel Hall, who a loyal servant of LMS down in Brisbane. He's been around for a long time. He's following this game closely. There's also Dane from the Sunshine Coast. He'll be tuning in.
Tom Williams here at 18 off 13. Dion Holden's really just settling in here, 11 off 12. The Welsh side at halfway, where they change ends, the Australians here. 69 for 2. I think they're going to have to look to probably put 100 on top of that to be competitive here, Wayne.
Yeah, I think they've got a few decent bowlers, the Welsh side, but I think today's side, their batting might be stronger. So I agree, 180 is where they're going to need to be. But even at 160 in the game, the wicket is, I would say it's probably going to get slightly harder to bat on as the day gets on. Not much, because the groundsman's very good, yeah, but it is quite a dry wicket. So
Well, we've got Marty Henderson down in front of us at the moment, just taking a few deep breaths in after his spell.
So in the next to come in, it looks like Gareth Evans. He plays a good standard of LMS down in Dorset, also a good club cricketer. And then there's Chris Geary, plays for Minnedussa in the North Wales League, pushed down. Marty Henderson giving Marcus North a round of applause there.
It's a lovely shot there, just lets the ball come onto the bat. He's going to turn blind here, and there's no second run.
A pass down at third man. He moves quickly for a big man. So Marcus North, 7 balls bowled, only gone for 9 so far. It's going to be interesting to see which area Holden looks at here. Dab again, there could be 2. Abbas comes in hard. He's got a strong arm.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone to the bowler. This is great fielding. That's really good from Abbas there. I'm not sure whose fault that is, but both batsmen with their heads down. We're just saying the boss moves a lot quicker than you think. He's got massive arms. He's got a massive arm on him.
I think the batsman may have gave up a little early there.
He called too late, maybe. I don't know. So that's a big moment in the game, yeah.
Abbas adjusted himself brilliantly there.
Fielding such an important part of this game. You'd think last man stands cricket is just about walloping the ball over the boundary for 6. And in some of the social leagues that might be the case, but when it gets to this standard, the tactics and the fielding is so important. The running between the wickets, call-in has to be spot on. I think Wales are going to have to adjust their target now. 180 is looking a big way away from here. 10 overs to go. I think 150, they've got to give themselves a chance. The new batsman, Gareth Evans.
It's not just that as well. I think Dion was just starting to settle there. And I think he had a lot more to give.
That's some shot from Gareth Evans. Inside out against the spin first ball. Or was that Tom Williams? That was Tom Williams, apologies.
It's really interesting here to see Marcus North just explaining to Brodie Dwyer there that the angles of the field may not be spot on.
So the new batsman is Gareth Williams. No relation to Tom Williams. They do have one thing in common. They're both called up on Monday, asked if they could play. And they both have driven a long way to play.
North comes into bowl. Goes high, he's miscued it. Henderson charges in. Picks it up one-handed on the bounce. Even though the Australian team are well on top here, you can sense that they're desperate to do well. And making some adjustments maybe for future games. But Page just took his hat off here, and he'll be bowling next over.
Same as the last one. On, height off.
We've just asked Marty Henderson down here at Long On what's a good score, and Marty Henderson said that it looks like they're going to get 200 here. No, he actually said if they get 100 they'll be lucky.
He said it without his face even dropping as well, which, you know, what a competitor. I must admit, Wayne, I've been very lucky to play cricket overseas a couple of times, and when you hear players from all around the world encouraging each other, it still makes me chuckle.
Would you call that encouraging?
Well, I'd be scared to death if Marty Henderson was trying to encourage me while I was bowling, but it definitely gave me a reason to bowl a good ball.
Yeah, so Marty Henderson is known for his encouragement. He encourages himself a lot as well. He's laughing at the advert.
Page comes in again here. He's just found a really good length here, the last couple of balls, heavy length. There's just a little bit of a natural slope away from the batsman from this end, the city end here at Chester. I know a number of our opening bowlers over the years have always enjoyed coming from this end with the slope, naturally working it towards the slips and the keeper. As he bangs it just a bit shorter there.
Up to the captain, Lang. What do you think of Sam Lang's knock the other day?
Well, I thought it was a fantastic innings. It was very interesting to see for me. Obviously, he was the last man standing, and he was very aware of the bonus point system as well. I think if he would have had a partner with him, he could have scored a lot more as well. He had to be very selective about his running. But chance of a run out here. Brodie Dwyer just taking a huge divot out the middle of the pitch there. Obviously Aussie rules player. Just casually drop kicking it on a length. But they've gone through for a single anyway. No, I thought Sam Lang batted really well. I genuinely think he came in far too late. And I know that's being looked at in this match. We spoke to, who did we speak to before, Wayne? We spoke to a member of the Australian backroom team.
Steve Emmett. Steve Emmett, he does a great job with LMS in Wollongong. He's been called in as the manager. Really experienced leader of men.
North's going to continue here. He's bowling really well in these middle overs, just going at 7.5 and over. He's just bowling into the top of that off stump. He's not trying to put too much pace on the ball. He's very aware, I think, Marcus, that if you put too much pace on it with the way the field's set, that there's a real opportunity for the batsman to roll it finer past the keeper.
And they've got a pass down there at a sort of deep backward point. He's doing a great job covering a lot of ground. And he's got such a good arm that you can't take a chance for a second that we saw earlier.
Easy.
He's mixing up his pace nicely here, Marcus. That's pushed out. This is going to be Sam Lang's well aware of the chance of two. The Aussies have been much better in the field today. I know Marcus North has had a word with them, and he felt that they didn't field well, and he's made sure that they put that right in this game. Well, that's big.
That's high. I think that's going to go all the way there, and it has.
So Marty Henderson early on saying they shouldn't get 100. Marty, do you still think that's the case?
When that ball was in the air there, I think Marty was going to call for the mark. But
Mart, can we have a new projection here, Marty? Projection from score from here?
Right. Well, they've tried to hit the ball exactly into the same spot there. Marcus North's completely bamboozled the batsman, and there's a missed stumping chance there.
And Marty Henderson's reassessed his projected score. He's moved it from 100 to 150. Oh no! So he's corrected me. He said he's happy with 150.
See, I think that word in Wayne is even more dangerous.
Look, he's actually looking quite nervous for the first time in his life.
This is a really good partnership. This Tom Williams is batting really well here. 33 off 22, striking at 150. He's shown that he's got the big shot in him as well, hitting both the sixes in the innings for the Welsh side. I think here Martin must be a little bit disappointed inside. Both Hurst and Dion Holden, who've been brought in the side today, both accomplished batsmen, looked very, very comfortable. And obviously Hurst was knocked over by O'Connell, but Holden's run out would have really hurt. It was a great bit of fielding by Abbas.
It was. The two experienced players, yeah, in terms of LMS at the crease, Tom Williams, and his namesake, Gareth Williams. Tom's just short arm jab. That's a great shot. Stayed down on it, just kept a bit low.
Just managed to hold his weight through his back foot there, and just as he cleared his leg out the way, like you said, he's just jabbed that. He's held his head in a good position there as he's just wrapped his wrists around the ball, and it's gone sailing away towards the housing area here at Chester as Page comes in yet again.
That should be out. Sam Lang shouldn't drop that. That's out.
We've gone for
He's
the double play.
steal. Oh, and Gareth Williams has completed a steal there. Gareth, obviously experienced in LMS, plays down in Dorset for the Christchurch Badgers, and although that's out, he's added 2 runs to the team's total. So good at LMS game awareness there from Gareth. He's got number 2 on his back. Well batted, Tom. He's got number 4.
Tom Williams bowled by Page, caught by Lang for 37, and that takes the Welsh score on to 96 for 4. It's a really interesting period of the game now for the Welsh team. They would have really hoped that Williams would have managed to get through the retirement point, Wayne, giving some of these guys a free licence to come in and strike.
You're dead on. That's dead right. It's tough though, because what is he on? 30? What? 37? Yeah. So he still needed to go. I think if he's on 47, he'd be more disappointed at that. But there's still 8 overs to go.
Yeah, I definitely think Williams was doing the right thing there. He just executed the shot not quite to the level he wanted to. But I think for that Welsh side, I think it was the hope that he could just manage to steer himself to that 50, just to give him that extra opportunity to let loose as the game goes on.
New batsman Chris Geary, number 9. Looks like he's taking a middle guard there.
Where does Chris Geary play?
Plays for Minadissa in the North Wales League.
I'm sure some of the boys down there will be tuned in. Just pushed into the leg side. They've looked to go for 2, but there's absolutely no way. This straight boundary isn't long down towards the club captain's house down here, and Marty Henderson is very, very quick over the ground.
That's pushed into the offside by Gareth Williams.
Geary again, just looking for that second run. He's came out with a good intensity between the wickets. Page, you'll be happy with his work there. He's 1 for 16 off 3.
Well, there's a lot of competition for places in this Australian side. Page left out the first game. He's now come in. So it's just gone for 16 of his 3. So he's giving Sam Lang something to think about. Steve Emmett's going to have to also look at this. Got to try and work out what their best 8 is, or they just keep a rotational policy going.
I think that will be the case, Wayne, until the back end of this tournament, and then I think performances are going to count massively for the way the teams are set up.
The other thing to remember, that they do make finals day. You've got a minimum of 2 games in the day. So finals day is all completed on Sunday, but the quarterfinals and semi-finals and finals on one day. So you need a long squad. There's going to be injuries or little niggles, so you'll probably need to rest a few players. Sam Lang into the attack. He can bowl. I think his batting's his better suit, but he's a clever seam bowler. Mixes up his pace.
Just to fill you in on the back pitch here, Wayne, I think quite a few people will be interested. Singapore are really giving South Africa a real tough game on the back pitch at the moment. They've managed to take 2 wickets in the first 5 overs. They've got rid of both of the dangerous Van Wyk and Venter, who both got brilliant 50s yesterday. And Cameron Fry and James Nelson are in very, very early here. So, the Singapore side, I didn't hide it at all yesterday. They're definitely my second favourite team behind my beloved England.
No, you were saying that they could cause a few upsets.
They've got some very talented players in the middle order, but the fielding yesterday, you know, we saw obviously some of the tournament favourites, and Singapore were definitely in that higher echelons of the fielding ranks yesterday.
So for those of you from South Africa or from Singapore not able to see this game live, and he's bowled him, Sam Lang. Gareth Williams will be disappointed with that shot. They keep down a bit, but I think he just needed to wait on that a bit. I think it's a bit early on that shot.
It's interesting that Sam Lang is bowling at exactly the same time as yesterday, Wayne. He holds himself back. They tend to bowl a lot of the strike bowlers overs up at the top. In LMS, is that a normal way of going about it, or is it, you know, personal to each captain?
I think it's personal to each captain. My preference would be, if your two opening bowlers are going well, then just stick with it, because there's no guarantee at the back end that they're going to be as successful. Depends on what sort of depth you've got in your bowling, but I think Sam Lang was right to bowl the two openers through. They were going well, and they've got obviously a lot of other guys that can maybe describe as bits and pieces bowlers, clever bowlers. So just coming back to that back pitch, if you're in Singapore, South Africa, and want to know what's going on that game, lastmanstands.com live scores. You can get the game up there. That back pitch is actually quite a high scoring pitch, Lee. It's probably extra 20 runs compared to this pitch. Would you say that's about right?
I think 20 runs is being generous, Wayne. I think as a batsman you'd be going to bed at 8 o'clock in the evening ready to play on that back pitch. The wicket itself is absolutely fantastic. There's just a little bit more bounce and pace on that back pitch. And you know, looking over now, it can create a really fabulous atmosphere just because of the size of the ground as well.
Oh, that is a direct hit. One stump to aim at from Jake O'Connell, and it looks like that is close. I'd like to see a replay of that. I think Gary might have been out if that was a direct hit. On the back pitch now, we'll come back to the run out again. We're on the back pitch. That looks like James Nelson, world number 2 batsman on strike. Big shot, not given.
Well,
oh, could there be a run out? He's given.
How lucky were you there, Wayne?
Great timing. So South Africa in all sorts of trouble there.
The bowler's Curtie over there, who did a brilliant job in the middle overs yesterday. But you can see straight away the captain Manpreet, who marshalled his troops brilliantly, and I believe he was one of the players of the day yesterday, Wayno?
Yeah, he was, and that was James Nelson, world number 2 batsman. He's really struggled in this tournament. He struggled to adapt to the conditions. He likes the ball coming on, and I think teams have got word of that, and they're just taking the pace off against him as we come back to this game. This is Gareth Evans from London. He plays for a team called Swansea Fine Legs. They play in the Wandsworth area. He's been playing LMS for at least 9 or 10 years now, or at least 5 or 6 years now. He's played 112 games of LMS. Slightly more known for his bowling, but he can bat as well. Stab down to third man. We've seen a Boss's arm.
We watched the Bass bowl some of the death overs yesterday, Wayno. He was brought in very late in the day in the batting order. I'll be interested to see whether he's moved up the order at all, or whether he's going to be utilised in that death bowling role again.
Yeah, I mean, he might not even bowl. How many bowls? They've already bowled six bowlers. Be interesting to see if they do bowl him. Hayden Page is obviously going to complete his 4 overs. He's going at a runner ball, yeah, 18 balls bowled, 18 runs.
He certainly put his best foot forward here in his first game of the tournament. Certainly given the selectors of Australia a little bit of a headache.
It's a nice headache to have that. Just a push from Evans.
So if you're Wales now, Wayne, what's the tactic? Clearly 130 just probably would not be enough against this dangerous Australian batting lineup. 4 overs to go. You know, is it stick or twist time now, or?
No, I think you always want to keep yourself in the game. We've seen teams defend 130. Get a few early wickets. You get the likes of Marty Henderson in early. You never know. 4 overs to go. The next 2 overs, maybe 6, 7 and over, getting you to 120. The last 2 overs, you never know. With the home run rule, if you hit it for 6, the last ball of the innings for 6, it's worth 12. So there's this outside chance of still getting 150 from you.
Clubhouse just starting to fill up now as the day goes on, and just as we look at some of these projected scores, if Wales could just put the foot down and get somewhere between that 10 and 12 and over, Wayne, that'll get them about 150. I think they'd be happy with that.
They'll be ecstatic on that from this position. I think they're looking probably more around between 138 to 146. 140, I would take 146 if I was Wales from here.
So this is Matt Angus.
All the established batsmen are back in the hat. Chris Geary, haven't seen much of him play, but I've heard he can hit a long ball.
Well, at the moment, obviously, Australia would be delighted with a run-up ball. That would leave Wales with 126, which I just don't think will be anywhere near enough. So, hopefully, what you just said about Chris Geary there, we may see a few some more powerful shots in the coming overs.
This is Matt Angus. He plays in Adelaide. He's also played a bit of LMS in Melbourne. He's a powerful hitter of the ball. That's a great shot.
That's a much needed for this Welsh side.
Great shot from Gareth Evans. Great story. He got called up on Tuesday. He had to phone. I think he had to do a bit of extra housework this week to get his sign off from his wife. He got sign off from his wife first, then sign off from the work. And now he's out here playing for his country. Pushed hard. Abbas has been outstanding there all day. Clean pickup again. Good start, tidy start from Matt Angus. Matt Angus hits the long ball.
That's gone long there. I think that's a 6. And it is. It's carried all the way down towards the commentary box here.
That's a good fight from Wales, yeah. Good over here now. Turning into a big over. Well, I think that's 13 off that over, isn't it?
Just over pitch there, and he's put his hands right through it. And it's cleared the boundary quite comfortably there.
I think he's obviously been in the nets with the likes of Paul Kearney. Paul Kearney's probably helped him out on a few technical things. Didn't get many yesterday. He's probably had a word with Paul Kearney, and he's on fire today, Gary.
Yeah, I'm sure Paul will take credit for that. Paul's played a lot of LMS cricket himself. And I'm sure him and a lot of the Minnesota boys will be right behind their national side.
So this is a good little passage of play for Wales. We're talking 130 earlier. I was actually saying 150 was a long shot, but now all of a sudden it's only 10 and over. That's a chance. They could get to 150. Pushed out. This could be 2.
It looks like 2, doesn't it?
No. It's Gary.
I think he spotted who was picking that ball up then.
Yeah. Good awareness from the fielder and from the batsman.
Jake O'Connell coming in there. He's got a rocket arm.
So, Lang to Gary. We've seen one straight 6 over our heads already. Can we see another?
One thing he's done really well, well in fact both these batters have done really well. They've just minimised the dot ball since they've been together.
It's a really good partnership. They haven't just gone out swinging. They've given themselves a chance, and now they've actually given themselves a half a chance for 150. Yep. Again, out to Connell. This is clever batting. Really good batting.
You just get a little feeling from this Australian side that they believed that they were probably going to knock the rest of this Welsh batting lineup over. So the momentum just shifting fractionally back towards Wales now. The Australians will obviously fancy chasing down anything around that 150 mark, but they're under a lot of pressure after not getting the victory yesterday.
Australia are well on top. Yeah, we'll just make no doubt about that, but you just never know in these last 2 overs. They can get up, score about around 140, 150. Well, there's a big play off the last ball of each innings. We've seen a lot of games like this in the past where the last ball goes for a 12. If you look at the scorecard, Good cameo from Tom Williams, 37 from 24. Dave Hurst looked very good up front until he got a Jaffa of delivery from O'Connell. And now this partnership's building. 12 of 8, Gary. Evans, 14 of 10, as Matt Angus continues. So Matt Angus plays a lot of his cricket in Adelaide.
I'll tell you what, he's hit that beautifully there.
Jake O'Connell covers a lot of ground out there. It's really good from O'Connell, the youngster. They just got their field a bit square. I think Angus is taking a lot of pace off it, so the extra cover is very, very straight. There's not much of a gap between extra cover and mid-off. There's actually a huge gap at backward point now.
Set really well, isn't it, Wayne? That field there. With the length that he's bowling as well, it's very clever. He's bowling at the stumps here. It's going to take an awful lot of risks to get the ball through point or backward a point there.
Is the reverse hit here not an option?
You'd have to be a brave man. He's tried to just guard that off the face there.
I think he might probably try to go a little bit straighter than that, but he's probably trying to pick out the gap between. There's a huge gap between third man and extra cover there. But Angus really bowling well now, just taking the pace off it. Will Gary maybe try and go leg side, maybe shuffle across his stumps?
Done well there. He's gone out to O'Connell again. They've turned. He's turned blind.
Oh, it's all happening here. It's a good arm.
He's actually given up on that, hadn't he?
Yeah.
He thought that was all over for him then, and then it's been fizzed in from the outfield.
I think Dwyer wasn't sure if he should take that on the full or go back, and he was caught in no man's land there.
I don't think it was a particularly easy take for the keeper there.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's got a bullet of an arm there. Push down for 1. So 132, 4 balls to go.
What would you be happy with, Wayne?
You'd be hoping for a home run. You'd really be hoping for a home run. That just could be the momentum that gets them going in the second innings. 150 still a chance, yeah. Martin Henderson, they said they would be happy with chasing 150. That's clever from Sam Lang. It's only going to be 1 there. So 3 balls to go. 2 4s and a 6 would be give them the 150.
He's certainly not going to die wondering there. If he got any of that, that would have gone a long way.
I think Gary's probably the right guy to be on strike here. We saw Razak yesterday hit a home run. So can Gary, there's 2 balls to go, can Gary go bang bang, yeah? Oh,
That's a lovely shot.
That's a great shot.
Pierced the field out in the offside there, Gary, lovely hands. 1 bounce into the advertising hoarding there.
And Ross Coward and Wesley Briggs, I think I'm not sure what they're doing there, but they're doing a good job, whatever it is. Well done, Wesley, well done, Ross. Okay, last ball to go. Can we see a home run? Yeah. Scores 138. Can they get to 150? Oh, we're very well bowled from Lang.
Bowling. Perfect bowling. No one's getting under that. And that brings the end to the Wales innings.
139. So 140 win. Australia will be favourites from here, but a couple of early wickets. You never know.
I think the Welsh side will certainly come on for that experience yesterday. I think the first couple of overs in the field, the captain Ian Martin, I spoke to him just before the game, and I think he was quite open to the fact that they were definitely learning as a group, so he took an awful lot from that experience yesterday. and I'm expecting a few slightly different plans from the Welsh side.
So Lee, chasing 140, we've been talking about bonus points in this competition a while because it's important. When you're chasing a score, to get the winning bonus points, you have to chase it down before the start of the 17th over. Is that something you think Australia will be thinking about, or do you think they'll just be going for the win? And if you're a captain, what would you be doing?
Well, 100% I'd be looking to get it done inside 17 overs. I'd also be looking to put a marker down to some of the other sides. You know, we spoke about Australia weren't overly happy with the performance yesterday. There was certain areas that, you know, needed improvement if they were going to go into the latter stages of this tournament. Look, 138, we've been saying about 180 being par. I think they've got to look to try and get this done as quick as possible and put a real marker down for the rest of the tournament.
So we just look at the scorecard there. Well batted Tom Williams, and a great little partnership between Gary and Evans. 22 from 14 from Gary and 18 from 14. Just giving Wales something to bowl at, yeah. Just giving them half a chance, yeah. An interesting point to note is yesterday Australia just managed to get the losing bonus points, so they're on 8 points in the league table. As we look at the bowling figures, the top two, very good. Henderson only going for 24 from his 4. Jake O'Connell, very good again, aggressive, mixed up his pace. He unsettled a few batsmen with a few quick, short deliveries. Marcus North, probably figures don't do him justice there, bowled well. Sam Lang, much improvements on his spell from yesterday. Matt Angus a bit expensive, but Matt Angus more known for his batting. He can hit the ball a very long way, so interesting to see how he approaches when they take on this Welsh attack later on.
Just to fill our viewers in on the situation on pitch 2, Singapore are giving a really, really good account of themselves against the South Africans, what I know. 85 for 3, South Africa now off 10. We've seen the par score on the back pitch be nearer 200. Cameron Fry, 30 off 20, seems to be trying to knit together the recovery for the South Africans after a couple of early wickets. And obviously we saw that live run out of James Nelson as well. I think is it Vaughan van Berkel?
Yeah, at the crease at the moment.
Well, I just seen if I would get the name right, because I know my pronunciation of some of the names can be a little bit off.
I think you've got that spot on there. So
he's 10 off 14, so he's obviously felt that he needs to steady the ship there and ready for a late onslaught.
Important thing to note, there's the 3 big guns in terms of firepower for Australia out. Cameron Fire, he's sort of the glue which they bat around. He just works the ball into gaps. Wouldn't call him a traditional T20 player. He's got a good technique and just works the ball around. So they've still got the Dalton Webster, the captain, to come. He's got quick hands and he can hit a long ball, but they're going to have to rebuild. And Singapore are more known for their batting. They've got some outstanding players. So I would say at the moment Singapore slightly ahead in that game. South Africa have got a good attack, but I think also that the small field there might not suit their quick bowlers there.
Well, the keeper's going to be right back, isn't he? He's probably going to be 10-15 yards off the boundary, so there's a lot more carry on that back pitch. So look, it's going to make for a really interesting contest. Would that be seen if Singapore were to turn over South Africa? Would that be seen as a shock?
I don't know if before the tournament definitely, but I mean, you called it yesterday. Singapore are definitely a team to look out for. There's nothing that we didn't know too much about them before this, but Manpreet Singh, one of the more classy batsmen in display so far in this tournament. I know you enjoyed his innings yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, I was very lucky. We got him into the comms box for 2 or 3 overs yesterday, and he thoroughly enjoyed the game. And Singapore showed exactly what they were all about. They were back into the net straight away.
We're going to try and get some footage from that field in the next few minutes. So if you're in South Africa or Singapore, or even in Australia, just wanted to see how the South Africans and Singapore's sides are getting on, stay tuned. Obviously won't be the same sort of angles you get. Oh, he's bowled him! He's bowled him!
You can see that. You don't need to be watching that in HD to know what happened there, Wayne. He's just been castled. The seamer from Singapore it looks like Manbir Singh, who had a very, very good game yesterday, up top. He bowled very good with Vineet, and he's been brought back for a second spell, and he's knocked over Vaughan van Berkel.
So the skipper, that's Dalton Webster, comes to the crease in much earlier than normal in this tournament. So it'll be good to see how the South Africans cope with the pressure. They're very, very strong side when they're on the front foot, but we haven't seen them on the back foot, so it'll be good to see how they react to the situation. I think from here, Cameron Fryer could be the key. What's the latest score there, Lee, from that field? We know they're 4 down now. How many overs bowled?
So it's 91 for 4 the score in the middle of the 11th over. That game really is in the balance there, because obviously if South Africa bat the whole innings and the likes of Fryer and Webster stick around, then they're going to expect to get up to about 160, I think. It's a small outfield. But I think if the Singapore side could just maybe get one more wicket now, if they could get out the key man Fryer, I think it could be a very interesting game.
Yeah, it's now Webster's going to have to play a different type of knock that he's played so far in the warm-up game. In the first game, he came in with 3-4 overs to go with 5-6 wickets in the bank, so he could just swing. Now he's got scoreboard pressure. He's got to worry about. There's a chance they could even get bowled out from here, so you can't just go and swing. It's well bowled. Who's that bowling at the moment?
It's Manbir Singh. He's yeah, him and Vineet did really, really well yesterday in that opening spell, and he's been split up today. He's only bowled the 2 overs in the first spell, and then he's come back and got the wicket straight away of Van Berkel.
So Lee, can you describe how close that pitch is? Obviously you can see from the boundary ropes, they're right on each other, but what would you say that length of the boundary is from the batsman there to final leg?
So the 2 straight boundaries, I'd probably say are no more than 55 metres. So if you were playing, just to give you an example of size, in the Big Bash, when they play at, I think it's the Etihad Stadium, where it's very, very short straight and then very, very big wide, it's a very, very similar field to that. If you actually look out, and if the cameraman's listening, if you could just pan left just to show the distance towards the canal, it's a massive leg side boundary.
Okay, so would you say there's potentially an argument to sometimes bowl it into the wicket?
Well, I think one thing, as you can see, that that is a huge hit out there towards the leg side boundary. Appreciate the work from the camera team there on cue.
I bet those houses get peppered every now and then.
I think for what they've paid for them, they can afford 1 or 2 windows, so very, very nice area. But what I'd say is, when you've got a boundary of on one side that is really quite big, it's key for bowlers to adapt to that and maybe bowl straight at one end and bowl wide at the other end, so always bowl into that long boundary.
Okay, and so we're going to leave that South African game. Keep an eye on that. Lastmanstands.com live scores. Singapore got their noses in front, but we're going to come back to this game. I'm going to be leaving the commentary box. Lee, Rob Stevenson, manager of LMS Australia, is going to be taking over from me. Should be a great second innings, this.
Cheers, Wayno. Welcome, Rob.
Thanks, Lee.
Good to have you back in the box.
Good to be back here again. Good to join you again. It's another great day up here in Chester. Continuation of this glorious summer.
So who have we got here opening the batting for LMS Australia?
So they've had a bit of a change of tack today. So yesterday the thought was to try and mix up the left and right handers, but today they've gone in with 2 lefties first up. So Marcus North up at the top of the innings, Brodie Dwyer just opening here. Marcus North up at the top, which I think is much needed.
So captain from Wales, Ian Martin, he's going to open the bowl. He bowled really well yesterday. He was a little bit disappointing that he didn't bring himself back a little bit earlier. There was an opportunity for Wales to win that game yesterday against Singapore. and he just held him and himself and Darren Leach back for the latter overs, but the latter overs didn't come. Some of the change bowlers took some serious tap and the game went. So I think you'll find that he'll go with his frontline bowlers straight away here and try and take some wickets and see, leave some of the change bowlers towards the end of the game.
Absolutely, early wickets crucial here for Wales, defending a low target. Got to get the cat amongst the pigeons early if they're going to stand any sort of chance here. And yesterday, it would have been difficult for them yesterday. All the guys thrown together at short notice, don't really know each other so well, so it would have been a difficult game for the Welsh team.
Just dragged into the wicket again. Tom Williams comes round at long leg and picks the ball up.
So now we'll have Marcus North on strike.
What do you reckon Marcus's approach is going to be to this role at the top of the order?
Well, he's so vastly experienced, obviously, and he'll know, he will have seen the way that Sri Lanka played yesterday. A lot of their runs came from just great cricketing shots into the gap. There's no need to try and heave over long on all the time with these fast outfields, so he'll be well aware of that. So I think he'll just play sensibly earlier, look to put it in the gap, and follow in the footsteps of Abdul Razak and Nick Compton in posting 50s.
I know you mentioned Brodie Dwyer was a very correct sort of left-hand batsman. Him and North obviously opening the batting together. Will that potentially lead to quite a sensible, cautious approach here? I know that they've got the potential for a bonus point if they can knock this off in 17 overs. Do you think they'll be looking at that, or just looking at the win?
Absolutely, they'll be definitely looking at picking up the bonus points here. It was important that they picked up 2 extra points losing against Sri Lanka yesterday by less than 20%, but they'll definitely be looking to knock this off in under 16 overs. I think in terms of technically correct batsmen, this is an ideal game set up for them because they don't have to score too quickly, even just to get those bonus points. So it's an ideal game for these two to open up together.
So second over here, and David Hurst has come into the attack. They've obviously got a bit of a plan here, Wales. They've gone pace off straight away here as he comes into bowl again.
David Hurst was a crucial wicket in that Welsh innings. He was looking really good up there at the top of the order.
I think he'll be really disappointed that he didn't make more of the opportunity to open the batting, and another wicket falls on the back pitch. So Singapore, South Africa, that game is well and truly in the balance. I think a lot of people came here today thinking that South Africa may have a little bit too much for Singapore, but that looks like it could be a very, very close contest.
Absolutely, 5th wicket down there for just 105 runs. So Singapore have really got South Africa on the rack here. A couple of more wickets and getting the last man stands in there. They're in all kinds of trouble. That's the top order batsman as well. The number 3, Cameron Fryer, has gone for 37 there, so they're properly into the tail.
Back on pitch 1 here, David Hurst just had a very close LBW shout. Very slow through the air rob. Doesn't put a lot of revs on the ball, but many people will know that David definitely backs his skills as a bowler.
Absolutely, it'll be interesting to have another look at that, but sensible play again, just knocking off the singles here. Brodie Dwyer went pretty quickly yesterday when he got going. That was quite a big wicket for the Australians, so that will have given him confidence. And Marcus North looked very good. Only got 21 in the end off, I think, 12 balls, but some fantastic shots in there, picking the gaps well.
So Martin continues here. It's a solid start for both teams here. Wales will realise that Australia haven't quite got away from them, and Australia will know that they haven't lost a wicket. So both teams will take a positive from these first 2 overs.
I do think it's crucial in this game, though, that obviously Australia can't go too hard too early, just at the risk of losing 2 or 3 early wickets. But picking up those bonus points in a pool of this nature after you've lost your first game is of massive importance.
A little bit of quality there from Marcus North. He's realised that Martin is taking the pace right off the ball here. He's, instead of rocking forward and giving the ball any chance to spin across him, he's just rocked back, took this right under his eyes and planted it through where cover would be on a Saturday afternoon.
Absolutely, that was picking the grab brilliantly there, Marcus North, and he's fitted in so well to this Aussie lineup. Out with the guys late last night, he was, and he's just fully bonded with everyone. Really wants to be part of a winning team here. As he mentioned at the opening ceremony, this is his chance to play in a International World Cup, something that he never got to do for Australia, so he's very excited about being a part of it all. It's quite a tight start so far, Lee. Putting a bit of pressure on here. The Aussies will be nervous on the sidelines, I would have thought.
It's early in the tournament to say it's a must-win game, Rob, but I definitely think Australia can't afford to lose against Wales in this group.
Absolutely. I mean, the quality of some of the other teams in the group has already been shown, so it's definitely a must-win game for Australia. There's no pressure on the Welsh team either. You know, they've come into the tournament late. In comparison to these Aussie guys who've just chipped back over the bowler there. That was a bit fortunate there for Marcus North.
A wry smile from North towards Captain Martin there as that completes the third over.
So the comparison in terms of pressure here is that these Aussie guys have been trying to qualify to play in this team for the best part of a year at the Aussie Nationals, at the World Champs in Cape Town, through their rankings, their performances. So huge pressure on each of them to perform, especially because there's 10 in the squad, two guys sitting out today, Puri Srinivasan and Nathan Tyrrell. So massive pressure to perform, while the Welsh, I don't feel there is any pressure on them really.
You'd expect Tyrrell and...
That's the end of the fourth over though, so that will bring the end of the power play, so they'll have to revert to having 3 fielders each side of the wicket now.
Just shows the quality of Marcus North though. He's on 21 off 11. I feel like he hasn't broke sweat yet. He's just manoeuvred the ball around beautifully.
Absolutely pure quality so far, and that's Steve Emmett that we see out there in the middle. He's the New South Wales South Coast last man stands manager, also the Australia team manager on the tour, so responsible for keeping all the guys in check.
Well, the run rate's dropped below 7 now, required to win this match, as Martin manages to get former Test batsman Marcus North to play a miss there. Gareth Williams behind the stumps there, taking that cleanly. Martin bowls exactly the same ball then, and North makes the adjustment and punishes that through the vacant extra cover region.
Just a replica shot there from 2 overs ago, exactly the same spot, similar shot. Real pressure here on the Welsh to try and defend this relatively low target, try and plug these gaps. Very difficult for them.
Managed to get North to miss time on there. He was looking to go slightly more expansively down the ground there, but didn't get any of it. Thick inside edge, out to deep square leg. Brings Brody Dwyer back onto strike. Apologies.
Brody looking pretty solid here. Knows that his role in the team is to play that anchor role. A lot of big hitting batsmen in the Australian lineup, so plays that role excellently, and he qualified to play in this team through the back of his performances at the Aussie Nationals in November, where he's top run scorer in that tournament. He just played those innings throughout the tournament, just anchor role every game.
So is that that national tournament, is that run as a team tournament or is that a state tournament? Do you want to explain how that works for me, Rob?
So that's a team tournament, so all the champion teams from around Australia get sponsored entry to go and participate. It's in the Gold Coast each year, which is obviously a fun part of Australia for the lads to go to.
It's amazing.
Great facility there, Runaway Bay Cricket Club. There's 6 fields there all around a very social clubhouse, so it's a brilliant tournament. Normally between about 32 and 40 teams each year, so alongside the champions, a lot of the other best sides from around Australia can also pay their way to come into the tournament. And very social few days up there, Gold Coast, mid-November. And from that tournament we've had, well, the best batsman, the best all-rounder and the best bowler all were selected from that tournament to play here in Chester, so that's Brodie Dwyer was the best batsman, Marty Henderson the best bowler.
Change of bowling for Wales, this is Dion Holden.
And young Jake O'Connell, who was player of the tournament, and he was the best all-rounder. They're a good place there, and they'll easily come back for 2. Well, drifts all the way for 4. I didn't imagine that would beat the fielder when that got going.
I think many a bowler at Chester will tell you as soon as that ball starts running down towards the short boundary behind the wicketkeeper, you know that it's probably going to end up in 4.
Joel Hall disputing the number of fields at Runaway Bay, but no, it's definitely 6 fields there, Joel. I've won a few games there in my time, so I think I can count up to 6, buddy. Good to see Joel chipping in the whole time. Keep the comments coming. We're loving it, guys.
So obviously Marcus North is the marquee player for the Aussie team. Who out the lads who've qualified through those World Championships and club cricket, who would be the poster boy, who'd be the guy that they're going to turn to maybe win them a couple of games in this tournament?
Well, the two legends of LMS, so to speak, in Australia are definitely Sam Lang and Marty Henderson. Both those players, almost 400 wickets each, and they've both scored over 12,000 runs, so massive all-rounders and multiple centuries between them. They're real proven match winners, but they're probably about half the Aussie team are massive match winners, famous in each of their leagues, so there's a lot of confidence in that side.
Beautifully on the fence there, Rob. You must have one player that if you were going to go into the club shop, whose shirt would you buy?
Oh, certainly Ziad Abbas. I think the big man, he just commands respect as an alpha male. He's great to have around the team, great for the confidence and some astonishing performances. He's the man that we spoke about yesterday that hit Monty Panesar for 3 sixes in a row. So huge fan of Big Z.
Monty Panesar actually played in a league local to us in the Liverpool competition last year for Wallasey Cricket Club.
How do you go for that?
Very, very popular character. I think he was brought in when they were nearer the bottom of the league, and they weren't near the bottom when he finished, so did his job.
It's great for team camaraderie, Monty. Very social man off the field.
Here you go, boys. Come on, it's quiet, lads. Come on.
Good to see Jed McMahon chipping in. Another legend of LMS in the Brisbane cricket scene. He's gone to Barbados and played with the world champs there with the Unwatchables. There we go, in the gap beyond point, so Brodie Dwyer getting going there. That will relieve the strike rate pressure slightly.
Just a little recap on what's going on in the South Africa versus Singapore game. Just saw another wicket fall over there.
There's a lot of pressure there on South Africa. They've definitely come here with an intense team ethic and really looking to take out the tournament, as all the teams are.
Well, there are 133 for 6. Jay Beattie and Ryan Hobert are in at the moment. Beattie's 15 off 10. He's a real character, Jay Beattie. Very much enjoyed his left arm opening bowling yesterday, and then a couple of his wild celebrations when taking routine catches, so he's certainly going to be one of the characters of this week.
Yeah, you can always pick the characters early in tournaments like this.
And the distinct figure of Ryan Hobert as well. He's obviously the slow bowling option for the South African side. As Australia seem well in control of this game, Rob, at the moment.
They are well in control. Wales really need 2 or 3 quick wickets here to get themselves back into it. As I said before, Australia will be eyeing up that bonus points target, which is 16 overs or less than 16 overs. So if it's 16 overs exactly, then Wales get the bonus points. 15.4 overs, the 2 bonus points will go to Australia. Crucial for them to pick up all the points today.
Seventh wicket down on pitch 2. Habert's out there, leaving the last man standing.
It's huge pressure there on the South Africans. On that pitch there, you've really got to be looking at posting 170, 180 minimum, and
probably
45.
more, Rob. I'd say you're being generous there. I think you'd probably be looking at 200. I think the top sides will want 200 runs there. 130 where they're currently at the moment. Jay Beattie's got a massive role here. He can't give it away.
So Singapore could be dark horses for the tournament here. It's Dion Martin bowling now.
So clever from Marcus North. That in the previous over, he's hit 2 in front of square through extra. So the captain's moved the field round, and then he's hit it exactly where the fielder was.
Just shows the quality of these ex-international players. It's almost impossible to captain against shots like this. Such big gaps in LMS. That's another great reverse sweep just there, but the third man should be able to come round.
Skipper Ian Martin just picks it up and bowls it back in. It's amazing, really. And I don't think we've had a 6 in this innings yet, but yeah, North is at 39 off 21. Dwyer will probably look to kick on a little bit now.
Absolutely. I'd say the pressure is coming off a bit now. They know that they've got a long batting order. They'll start thinking now about those bonus points. We've got through the initial stages, haven't lost those early wickets, so you'd say that the win probably should be, well, they'll be thinking it's almost in the bag, so they'll be maybe thinking about, well, actually I think with the batting order they have gone for a few of the big hitters up in the upper middle order today, so they won't have to shift around the batting order too much. I know Sam Lang will be coming up a bit earlier than what he did yesterday.
Well, we didn't see Zia the Bass bowling today. Will we see the big man up the order maybe?
I was quite surprised to see that Ziad didn't bowl. It's very, very good all-round cricketer. Crucial run out there that he got. Bit of a mix-up in the Welsh side. So Drink's just being run onto the field now. Marcus North going very well here. So just a short delay, just as the batsmen rehydrate in these scorching English conditions. Must be at least 22 or 23 degrees here today. Huge pressure on South Africa in the other game happening off camera. Singapore all over them, and Singapore played very well yesterday. Good fielding outfit.
I was lucky to have Manpreet Singh in the box with me for a few overs yesterday. Very charming young man. He was telling me how much he's enjoying the UK and how he thought the catch he took in the first 10 minutes of the tournament was just okay, and then he watched it back on Twitter and realised it was very good.
Yeah, lovely man. And then there's another lovely chap coming on to bowl here, Tom Williams for Wales to bowl his first over. Marcus North now 44 off 24, and he hasn't even slogged at any of these deliveries, just marvellous cricket shots all around the ground.
I think it's going to be tough for Marcus North not to try and be relatively aggressive if the ball's going to get thrown up like that.
Absolutely. Well, he just moves to 45 there, so just 5 runs away from the retirement.
So will these marquee players get a ranking from playing in this tournament?
They will, but you build up your ranking over quite a period of time. So as players play, probably, you know, once you got past about 15 games of LMS, then you have accumulated enough ranking points to move up the world. And there's about 130, 140,000 players in the global ranking at the moment, so they've got a little while yet. They'll have to play just sign up for their local leagues to get their rankings up. But I thought the display of Abdul Razak yesterday was extraordinary.
What a shot that is, straight down the ground. Hit like a tracer bullet. Just to the right of the sight screen there. North moves to 49.
That's Brody Dwyer there who hit that one, was it?
No, Marcus North.
It was. You are correct.
After seeing him score a blistering 100 against me 2 years ago, he's a very distinct figure in my mind.
There we go. So well batted Marcus North there. 50 for the Aussies. Follows up 21 off 12 balls yesterday. Great play there. Just showing his quality. Shots all around the ground. There was barely anything that he hit towards long on or deep mid wicket, which is the general go-to area for a lot of this Australian team. And here we go, the big man Ziad Abbas coming in, promoted up the order. So there'll still be this definite signal from the Aussies that they're looking to get this job done quickly and pick up the bonus points.
Massively excited to see this fella. I've heard a lot about his ability to hit a very, very big ball.
He's actually won a tournament before with a home run, the Newcastle Open in New South Wales. He came in with his team really struggling, and he was there, and then he hit, I think, 51 off 19 balls, which included a home run to win the game and the tournament for his side. So he can be a big match performer under pressure, that's for sure.
Massive ripple for Marcus North as he walked off there. I think the people watching the game really appreciated what a well put together 50 that was.
Takes the pressure off Marcus as well, following up from Compton and Razak both hitting runs for their sides yesterday. It'll be nice for him just to have justified his marquee spot.
Will Abbas just have a little look at a couple here?
Well, this is what you said yesterday, that you should have had a look at a couple and then gone big. But yeah, he got out for 1 off 2 balls yesterday, but there was a lot of pressure on him when he came in.
I think the game had gone by then, to be honest.
There you go, all edges help. Bit lucky to get away with that. Flies past the keeper, Gareth Williams. Trickles down to the fence. So a bit lucky there from Z, but he'll be happy with that.
Sometimes when you're known as a firm striker of the ball, it's very, very easy to kind of be very tentative, thinking that you can't get out in those first couple of balls, and you end up maybe getting out to a ball that you'd normally hit for 6.
Absolutely, and I think he knows that. A few smiles coming from Ziad.
South Africa have been bowled out on the back pitch. JBT's just gone. LBW.
That's so a bit of an upset going on there. Singapore looking well in control of that game.
144.
That's going to be a very difficult total to defend them. Huge pressure on the South Africans to tear in with early wickets. So no pressure really on Brodie Dwyer. He's just got to play that role, get Ziad on strike. If Australia are going to win this with the bonus points, it's going to be down to the men down the other end.
Holden continues here. He's none for 22 off 2.5. As Abbas hits that like a rocket out to deep mid wicket. The fielder wasn't overly keen there. I don't think I would have been either.
That's it. I've been the recipient of a few hits from Ziad Abbas in my time, and he does pack a punch when he gets going.
Which comp do you play in, Rob?
That's in the Sydney leagues, the midweek leagues in Sydney. Ziad's a regular player there. Also, they have winter competitions down in Australia as well. The weather's fantastic there, so you can play last man stands year round. So Ziad plays in one of the Saturday winter leagues. Side currently top of the ladder there, so having to do without Ziad for a couple of weeks as they come into the winter playoffs. It's a great part of Australia, outside of the south where you played down in Tasmania and Melbourne. The rest of Australia, pretty much, you can play cricket year round, so it's unbelievable for these guys. Just adds up with the numbers as well. You see the amount of runs scored by Samuel Lang and Marty Henderson. You know, they're getting in 80 odd games a year, so you can really clock through the runs then.
They must have very understanding partners if they're allowed to play all year round. I think the 22 games that we get in this country is more than enough for quite a lot of the housewives of the UK.
Well, there we go. So Brodie Dwyer going down the track there. Don't think he really needed to do that. There wasn't the pressure on him to score the quick runs, but he's helped his side get a solid start. Good foil there to Marcus North. Good turn there from Tom Williams. Quick keeping from Gareth Williams from down in Dorset. So Tom plays in the London leagues, the bowler. Gareth down in Dorset.
He was giving us a wide as well. It just shows how much it's gripped off the surface there. Very slow delivery, but Plenty of revs on the ball, pass through to the keeper, and that's the end of Dwyer.
Talking of understanding partners, Samuel Lang's partner is the Aussie skipper, very understanding, but he's quite lucky in that he works for the defence, so travels around the country all the time. So generally he'll play LMS in 3 or 4 states every month, so knows a lot of guys all around Australia. He's dominated a lot of bowling attacks around Australia. So
how does that work, Rob, with him obviously moving around the country? Will he be assigned to several different teams, or will he get in touch with you guys as organisers to say, oh look, I fancy a game in this state? Or
absolutely, but over the years he doesn't even have to get in touch with the organisers because he knows so many people around the comp, and people here when Sam Lang's come into town, so there's always a bit of competition for who can snap him up for their midweek games.
Keep going, boys, come on.
So 78 for 1 after, well, in the 11th over now. So Australia just seeming, I would say, to be content for just the win without the bonus points here. They'll have to give a bit of a nudge on if they're going to pick up the bonus points. 62 required from 50 balls, but it'll be 62 from 29 balls if they're going to pick up or 28 balls now, isn't it? If they're going to pick up the bonus points.
a few mentions coming in on social media. We had Upton's chairman Jez Lamb on earlier in the match, just talking about the LMS at Upton. Chris Smith, an old friend of mine's, just got stuck in, saying, Dicko, give me a mention, so he can take his earphone out at work. He's been listening all morning, so as the ball goes past the back there, Henderson's gone as well.
That'd be that's a real surprise there. You don't often see that, especially in a big match situation. Marty over 13,000 LMS runs. Again, dancing down the track, and quick work again from Gareth Williams. So showing the value of having a proper keeper. You know, it's been subject to some debate coming into this tournament with the LMS ranking systems. In that a lot of the all-rounders have been selected across the sides, which hasn't really given the opportunity for a lot of the best keepers in LMS to get selected, but just shows the value there with a couple of stumpings.
Me and Wayne spoke about obviously the app and the way it works on an algorithm and working out man of the matches and whatnot. How do you think that'd be built in to actually ensure you do get, you know, the best keeper? Because obviously the game has changed. People do need to be able to bat. But, you know, we've seen there, you know, with a quality keeper in.
There are keeper rankings, so you can tell who's top of the keeper rankings, but the way that some of these sides were selected for the tournament, there wasn't a role in the side for the keeper. What you generally find across LMS is the guys that tend to keep are the guys that aren't going to bowl. So at least you still have 7 bowling options and guys end up carrying their keeper.
But this is shown here, you know, the keeper here for Wales.
Well, you'll just see the pressure on the Australians now going into their other games. 2 of them have got out stumped dancing down the wicket to a spinner.
Well, Gareth Williams travelled up from Dorset, and in that period of play alone, you know, he had no right to get to that one. He clearly a proper gloveman, and in previous games yesterday, there was chances being created all the time, and the keepers were sometimes not quite up to the task. You know, it's very, very difficult as a batsman just to step in. It's a specialist role. As he drops one on cue.
I think especially on these turf wickets here, they're going to take a lot of spin. The keeper comes into the equation a lot more than back in Australia when there's a lot of synthetic decks. Big Ziad there, belts the ball out to the deep, beautiful shot through extra cover. So Ziad Abbas getting going here, moves him on to 12 off 6 balls. Sam Lang joining him at the crease, so a couple of real big hitters here. So this is a sign of intent here from the Australians. I think they've got, what have they got now? Just under 5 overs to 4.5 overs to hit another 57 runs to get these bonus points.
Do you think they've potentially made a little bit of a mess of this, trying to get the bonus point here, put more pressure on themselves than they needed?
I think slightly so, especially after that start from Marcus North, 50 off 27 balls. So they know that they've got him in the sheds as backup, so they've really got license to go for it here. I'd be very surprised if they didn't come close to the bonus points with Sam Lang out there at the crease.
Really enjoyed watching Sam Lang yesterday. My first experience of seeing someone being the last man standing, and him judging when there's a 2 and there's not a 2, and
well, he was turning down a lot of 2s.
there we go. Now that is absolutely massive. Wow, that's gone 5 houses back here at the city end of the ground here at Chester, and that is Ziad Abbas at his very best.
That's a huge hit there from Big Z, right over us in the commentary box. That would have cleared the ropes by 25, 30 metres probably. Lucky not to cause some significant damage there to the that's the club captain's house, isn't it, there with all the glass?
I don't think that house is even in danger. I think that's that could be in a different postcode. That
extraordinary hit there from Big Ziad Abbas. Wonderful stuff there. So with all this glass on your club captain's house, I assume this is all pretty reinforced glass, is it? Doesn't look too cracked.
Yeah, that's triple glazed. That, and to be fair, I think a lot of the local lads as well know not to try and hit it towards that way. But he's I may try and get him in into the commentary box with you, Rob, just for a few moments, because he's actually just down the road there. So give me a sec.
So Ziad Abbas showing what he can do here, and he served his intent in the practice game that a lot of people were watching that the Aussies played on the Friday. With some of his hits then, some extraordinary hits when he gets going. One of the most sponsored players in this LMS tournament as well. 6 player sponsors for Ziad Abbas, including a chicken shop. He doesn't look like the kind of guy that eats out of chicken shops a lot. So 93 for 2 now after 12 overs. So Big Ziad facing up again. It's definitely going big now. That's in the gap out to mid-wicket. So we are honoured to be joined in the commentary box by Chris Fleet, club captain here at Chester Boughton Hall. Fantastic cricket club up in the northwest of England. Chris, thanks for hosting us and great to have you.
Good to see you. Sadly, my house just backs onto the ground, as you've probably seen on commentary, and it's in complete danger at the moment. From the last success, not only went over the house, it went 3 houses down. So I'm going to have to, in the process of taking extra insurance out for the windows.
Absolutely. How often do you have to fix those windows then?
Well, actually, they're actually got some netting on in front of them all, because every Saturday they seem to have a competition who could try and break the window in my house, which is very good fun for them, but not very good fun for my wife and the rest of the family.
Well, I don't think there's any more dangerous man in the LMS world than Ziad Abbas house at the moment, but having said that, just goes for the big one, trying to get it over long on again. Miss it, clean bowled.
And obviously Australian supporters won't be very happy about that. Personally, I'm very happy about that, actually, so the house will survive for another day. Just this opportunity, I have to compliment the Last Man Stands team. We didn't know actually what we were letting ourselves in for when we accepted the invitation to host this event, but it's been fantastically organised, and the intensity of the cricket and the support from the people around has been most amazing.
Thanks, Chris. Well, hopefully the first of numerous events that we could have here. It's just wonderful facilities that you've got, and the amount of people that were just involved around the day yesterday. You know, you had a lunch function on, and then a dinner function on, and people watching the cricket from both sides of the pavilion. There would have been a couple of hundred people here most of the day yesterday,
I think a lot more than that actually, but yeah, and I think the product actually, we always try and be the best. Sometimes the weather doesn't help, but we have got the perfect storm at the moment, because the English summer has been fantastic, and it's a really warm day, and of course people like to come out and watch sport and partake in a few cold lagers, so all good for everybody so far.
Absolutely, it's been a brilliant summer for English cricket. It's been well, outside of 1976, they're saying the best summer on record, aren't they?
Yeah, sadly I was around. Well, I was around in 1976. I don't actually remember it too well, being so hot, but it's certainly been fantastic for the sport over here. And as always in England, we can't do extremities of temperature. When it's too cold, we can't survive. When it's too hot, we can't survive.
Absolutely. The old adage of whinging Poms may come in there, Chris.
No, as you know, English people can moan about the weather at all times.
So as we continue here, Australia needing 141 for the win. If they chase it down in under 16 overs, then they pick up 2 extra bonus points, which in a pool like this, 6 teams of crucial importance. So Chris, how long have you been involved here with the club?
I was actually born on the ground 150 years ago, but I've grown up through the junior ranks. Was captain of the first team for 12 years and played for 35 seasons in the first team, and now I think my title is club captain. Had the ultimate Saturday where my son, who's only 16, played in the first team at Nantwich, and actually was there at the end of the game, and as he was chaired off, and obviously a very proud father, a guy ran over to me and said, "Chris, are you Chris Fleet?" Which I said yes. He said, "Your grandson is going to be a fantastic player." So I had to spend the next half an hour in the mirror looking at my my treble chin to see actually what he was looking at. But
you're looking in very good shape, Chris. So we got Hayden Page in batting now. So he sat out the game yesterday. There's 10 in the Australian squad. So Hayden plays most of his cricket in the ACT in Canberra, but hails from country New South Wales. So a lot of good Australian players come from the country. Really strong-willed sportsmen.
We were very, very lucky to have a couple of the great Australians in our world. Jeff Foley from Brisbane, who played here for a number of seasons, and my friend, and also Stephen Wonke, who came and sort of played for 6 or 7 years, and they were 2 fantastic Australian overseas players for us. And best 2 cricketers I probably played with, although we were lucky in the 80s to have the Viv Richards scholarship scheme here, where we had a young fast bowler called Winston Benjamin who turned up, and then the following year we had a guy called Curtly Ambrose, which rather strengthened our bowling attack.
That's some serious quality there.
Especially as the wickets were uncovered at the time as well, so you wouldn't like to face either of them on a covered wicket.
So which years were those?
That was 86 and then 87. So
real young Curtly and Winston Benjamin, one of the Benjamin twins along with Kenny. Part of that great fast bowling West Indian attack of the 1990s.
Yep, and they believe if they've got the ball in the hand and you've got a bat, it's fair game. And most of the club cricketers around that time, we weren't playing on covered wickets, so it was quite a shock for everybody. And certainly I only had 1 net practice in 2 years against both of them. I went to the pub actually rather than standing at the other end of the net.
Very sensible decision there, I think. Absolutely no point getting injured in the nets against a West Indian fast bowler.
I spent most of my time trying to kick the ball away, because you were allowed to do that in those days, and certainly against Ambrose you wouldn't want to try and kick it, because it would kill you. But the 2 Australian guys, Wonke and Foley, were fantastic club members, and took the club to a new level. And certainly if there's anybody wanting to come over and play for a team, we're always open to overseas players.
So young lads like Jake O'Connell, have you seen much him play?
Yeah, I saw him play before. He looked a really good player, actually, a really good player. Sadly, I would think he'll be too good for the Chester team, actually, but he looked a great prospect. And they're very competitive, the Australians. Apart from being able to drink all day, they do seem to practice all day as well. I don't know quite how they do it.
They've got a good team ethic here. Steve Emmett is the team manager. Sam Lang as the captain, both very social guys but very intense cricketers. Think about the game a lot. So a lot of thought has gone into this team, and that's a great shot there through mid-wicket. So Hayden Page getting going. So over on the back pitch, South Africa have now got 2 early wickets. So there's real game on there against Singapore. So huge game there for South Africa.
Okay, so I'm going to pass you back to Lee Dixon, who, as you know, speaks for a living, even talks in his sleep these days. I'll put you back on. He was our club coach, and now he's ever present in the first team. He plays cricket a different way to most people, but we've had loads of fun together. I'll put you back to him.
Thanks for your time, Chris.
Thanks for that, Chris. Luckily for us, you're not going to have to listen to me for too much longer. Nick Compton's just popped over to the box after a successful morning. Well batted, Nick, and he'll take you through till the end of this game between Australia and Wales.
Thanks, mate. Great to be here. It's turned into another cracking day. This looks like Wales were probably about 15-20 runs shy of making this into a real game. I think Australia probably cruise over the line in the end. Wales just bowling a few spinners here at the back end. Wickets just crumbling down. It's a good shot over the top on the offside, and that'll go for 4. Page just getting himself going on to 11 now off 8, and a lot of noise over there from the South Africans, aren't there? God, they do carry on a bit, but it just shows the passion some of these teams have. I mean, you could hear South Africa from another borough, couldn't you?
Absolutely. I mean, it means so much to these guys. They play so much last man stands. They're all big players in their leagues, and they know that all their mates, their teammates, their families will be watching back home. You've had a lot of highlights in your cricket career, but of course for all of these guys, this is their career highlight.
It's a big moment, exactly. No, it's nice to see the passion, isn't it? I mean, you need teams really wanting to win, and that's what these teams bring to it.
Go down the ground to long on, so that'll just be the single there. Australia ticking along here. Any thoughts of the bonus points? Well and truly gone. They would have had to chase the runs within 16 overs for that, so Wales will pick up the 2 losing bonus points that are available. 30 runs off 23 balls with 5 wickets in hand. Should be able to coast it from here, the Aussies, you would have thought. And good to see you maintaining your impeccable LMS record yesterday, Nick.
Yeah, I don't want to give up that record. It's probably the only one I'm hanging on to at the moment. So nice to get a few runs again. Yeah, I've quite enjoyed it. It's just nice to kind of be in the run scoring mode, not worried about kind of getting out or trying to get through the new ball.
So England put Scotland to the sword yesterday. Well, probably shouldn't refer to it like that given the history between the two countries, but a big win for England yesterday to get their tournament going. And also interesting to see a bit of the South African influence on the English team being continued down to the amateur level as well, Nick.
Well, you know, it's what you expect now. There's, England cricket is being kept up by the South African entourage, and I'm glad to see that nothing's changed from the real sort of Test cricket to last man stands. Lots of Southers in this team. Yeah, it's been good. There's been a really good blend of guys from different parts of the country, and everyone sort of brings people together, doesn't it? You know, they've all been playing, they all speak the same language, everyone loves cricket, and I've really enjoyed it. I think there's a really nice atmosphere around the place.
Absolutely. These last man stands tournaments are fantastic for connecting cricketers from around the world, and that's another great shot there through that extra cover down towards the nets there. Hayden Page has looked really solid here since coming in.
Lovely shot there, off spinner, just waiting, not trying to hit it too hard, and just times it over mid-off. He's been brought up to try and sort of stop this run rate because the game's well and truly in Australia's control now.
Absolutely, this will do a lot for the Australians' confidence here. Ziad getting a big hit in there just to get him going. Marcus North taking the pressure off himself with 50 off 27, opening the batting. All the guys bowled and fielded pretty well, so big confidence builder, and Wales will have to look to bounce back from this double disappointment. But good thing for them is at least they picked up the losing bonus points in both their games, and with another 3 games to come, they'll just know that it's must win every game now. There's 24 runs needed now for the victory. Beautiful shot straight down the ground. David Hurst picks up and throws back in, and that was really the big wicket. He came in and looked really good opening the batting there, David Hurst. Quality cricketer from up in this region. So we're actually, although we're in England here, probably walk to the Welsh border from here. Bit of a long walk, but on the edge of Wales up in Chester, so a few of these Welsh guys haven't had to come too far to take in this tournament.
Yeah, nice to see the Welsh boys in their very bright red gears, looking the part. Quite get enough runs today. They played okay though. There was some good shots in there. Just probably needed another 20 runs. I think another 20 runs would have made this a decent game. It looks like one anything over 160 is a competitive total. I think if you get into the 180 region, you should win, bar the fact that you might hopefully not bowl too poorly. Yeah, we had a good game against the UAE. It was a good competitive game. They had some useful spinners that turned it a bit, and that's what you expect, particularly in these dry conditions. So we had to work for our runs a bit, and we didn't bowl brilliantly today, but you're not going to play at your best every day. I think it was a bit early for the guys this morning after a few dusty ones last night.
So how do you find it with the team camaraderie, with all these guys getting thrust together? They obviously haven't played together before, or haven't even played against each other a lot before, so it's all very new and fresh. What's the camaraderie like in the team?
Oh, very good. Guys are very easygoing, very friendly. I think the style of game and the type of people that sort of lend themselves towards this game are quite open, quite friendly guys, competitive, most of them are working full-time jobs, so when they do come and play, they want to let some steam off and play as hard as they can. So I've really enjoyed it. I think everyone comes together pretty naturally, and that's what's been really enjoyable about it.
There we go, big shot out to the deep there. Lands safely though, and very interesting in the other game at the moment. South Africa coming back really hard against Singapore on the back pitch. 3 early wickets there in the first 2 overs. Singapore going at a good click with a run rate.
What did South Africa get there?
So 144 all out for South Africa. So on a pitch that you should be getting well over 180. Well, Lee was saying 200 plus. So definitely underperformed there, but big pressure here shows the strength of character.
It's okay, they'll chuck in the semis or the final, mate. Let them win the group games, eh?
Absolutely. Yep, that does tend to be the case in last man stands as well. We have had actually a couple of South African winners in last man stands, though, to be fair to them. When the tournament was held in London in 2013, the final was held at the Nursery Ground at Lord's.
Good shot there, getting back to this game. Lang just waiting on one there and placing it through the offside. I mean, it really is a fast outfield, so you do find the gap. Time it well, it tends to go for 4.
So here we go. So just 10 balls left, 13 runs required. Should be a walk in the park, but as soon as you get into the last over, always a few nerves going around, and it's a big match for these Australians after losing yesterday.
Just need that win, don't you? Just get over the line, get those points on the board, and then you can enjoy a few beers and watch some of the other teams play this afternoon. It's great. Lots of nations here. We've still got India to come at 3 o'clock, and then of course New Zealand are playing later. Some big names. Marcus North playing here. James Franklin from New Zealand, he'll be playing, and Abdur Razak for Pakistan. So yeah, really good turnout.
Absolutely brilliant performance from Abdur Razak yesterday for Pakistan against India. Real legend of the game, absolute talent there, and it just showed.
Yeah, I think kind of an underutilised talent. I sort of felt he could have done more in the game. Very, very talented guy. Bats, hits the ball miles. Was a lovely bowler, lovely action. Good fielder.
So both batsmen here have played most of their cricket in Canberra. They're both good mates from Canberra, so they'll know each other well. Aidan Page, actually, he's the only Indigenous representative in the side. He's played at the Impaja Cup, which is the national Indigenous cricket competition in Australia. He's played for both Northern Territory and ACT in that tournament down the years. Solid innings from him.
Leaving it a bit late here, though. A couple of dot balls and a single. I think I have a feeling a big shot's coming here, just to try and ease the pressure, get them over the line.
Absolutely. 13 off 8 is different to 13 off 11, that's for sure.
And that's the 4. That's the 4 they're looking for. Page just rocking back. Off spinner probably bowling a little bit too slowly here and giving them lots of time. This wicket, you kind of got to play the spinners off the back foot. It's just starting to turn, going through the top a little bit, but yeah, really good shot there from Lang.
So Sam Lang, the skipper, showing that he's a man for the pressure. Goes for it again, but they could be able to come back for 2 there. Well, it's going to beat the deep square leg, so.
Just 2 runs for the win now. It's 136 with 1 over to go. They needed those couple of boundaries. It's a shame from the off spinner. bowled a couple of good balls there to start the over, but didn't quite finish it off.
It's great stuff there from the Aussie skipper Sam Lang after the, as you say, the first 3 balls in the over, only 1 run coming from it. And then Sam just comes in, a couple of boundaries just to ease any nerves that would have been there. Going into last over, it's 4 runs required now for the, what are we on, 136, so 4 runs required for the win off 5 balls, which just 1 hit there. So I think we have Gareth Evans coming on to bowl here. Another very, very experienced LMS campaigner. So on the back pitch, Singapore just trying to rebuild here, 28 for 3, chasing 145 to win against South Africa.
What are their team like? They got any good players? Anyone you recognise or know of?
Well, South Africa came into the tournament definitely is one of the favourites. A lot of LMS, well, absolute LMS legends in that team. Martin van Wyk, Dalton Webster, just to name a couple. It's a lot of pressure on those teams if you're coming in as the favourites. Singapore, more of an unknown quantity. They're relatively new to LMS, but they looked really good in the field yesterday. It's coming up for the last over here. 4 runs required for Australia. Hayden Page from Canberra on strike.
Yeah, it just needs, it says 139.
I think that the scoreboard's wrong.
What are they on? They need 2 runs or 140 to win. So we have 4 runs needed. A dot ball for first. So 4 or 4. Right down to the wire here for the Aussies.
It's a bit of an unfortunate time for the scoreboard to be wrong, but I'm sure the players are well aware of what's happening. Yeah, Hayden Page,
they should have kept one out.
It's gone all the way there. Runs out to the boundary, so what could have been 1, Hayden Page manages to chip it over the infield. That relieves any sort of pressure. Good sportsmanship there from Gareth Evans.
Yeah, great win there for Australia, getting over the line, never in doubt. But a good game of cricket, definitely a good game of cricket, guys. Nice to see a competitive match. Plenty to come though, and captain there for Australia just showing his experience, you know, holding it all together. Big ticker.
Absolutely. Once you've hit 13,000 LMS runs, the experience coming to the fore there. So thanks to Nick Compton for joining us. So big win there for the Aussies. They needed that after losing out to Sri Lanka yesterday. Get back on the right path. So we have Wayne Grieve just joining us here. The camera now filming the South Africa versus Singapore game on the back pitch. So I'll hand over to Wayne.
Yeah, we just need to get a score from that pitch, but I know there's been a serious injury with Cameron Fire. Unfortunately, he's done a very bad hamstring strain. He might even have to go to hospital. In that game, LMS South Africa, they what did they get in their first? They got 144 in their 90. They were bowled out in 19.1 overs. And Singapore are off to a flyer, but they've lost 3 wickets, so 32 for 3 after 4 overs. So that's going to be a very interesting game. The wicket's been tumbling there, but the run rate required is very comfortable. Lee, you've been following that game a bit. Have you got anything to add about the status of that game?
Well, I've had just on my break then, I must admit, I ran across to that second pitch to follow my beloved Singapore. And what a fantastic atmosphere it is over there.
He's gone for 6.
Gone for 6. Jay Beattie, I think he fancied that in the air. I get the impression that the batter didn't get all of it. He was watching it intently, thinking there may have been a catch. But every boundary, every wicket, there's 2 very, very loud and boisterous set of fans there. And I've just been over to see my friend Kunal from LMS Singapore. He's going to pop in the comms box again later on, Wayno. He was excellent yesterday, enjoyed his company a lot.
Yeah, it's like a boxing match out there. Who can shout the loudest at times?
But that's what it's all about, really, for me to see. You know, obviously, I think a lot of people fancied South Africa today, and it's a real game over there, and you can tell that by the way that the South African backroom staff and players who've been rotated today, to every wicket. It's, they're really behind their side here.
And just look at the scorecard here. Wales batted first, 139 for 5. That didn't seem nearly enough. At one point, it looked like Australia were going to try and chase that down in 17 overs, or with inside 17 overs to go for the bonus point, but they lost a few wickets. Pick of the batsman for Wales was Tom Williams, 27 from 24. Hayden Page was the pick of the bowlers.
Going to jump in there, Wayno, because we've got, by the looks of it, we've got, is it Marcus North and Ian Martin? But we're going to go over to Nick anyway with the boys there.
All World Cups need a strong Australia, so great to see them coming back in this competition with a win, their first win of the competition. But I'm going to go to the losing captain, Ian from Wales. Wales probably about 20 runs light there.
Yeah, probably 20 runs light, that's about right. Two lads who opened up, bowled straight through, they bowled well. And restricted some good players. Wicket of David Hurst was a big one. We were hoping, banking on him to carry his baton to follow through at the end of the innings. So yeah, we were 20 runs short at the end of the day.
Got quite exciting at the end there, sort of in with the chance.
Yeah, it's the slower you bowl out there, the harder it is to hit, isn't it? Take the pace off, so suits us because we've got a team full of slow bowlers. So yeah.
What are you going to do this afternoon?
Watch a few games going on here now. I think some nice games going this afternoon. So
who have you got tomorrow?
We got South Africa tomorrow, 6 o'clock. So.
Okay, so that'll be a tough one. Good luck for that. Hope you have a couple of beers and get back in the net. So, Northie, you can't keep a good man down. Nice to get your first 50 in this competition.
Yeah, it was, mate. Well, you've got a couple already, haven't you? So you set the benchmark there, mate. But no, it's nice to contribute. You know yourself that you're playing for your country here, and you want to do well for the boys. So it's nice to kind of finally get a few today.
Oh, great. And how was it out there? Was it turning a bit?
Oh, it was a little bit of turn. I mean, the weather's been amazing this summer, so the groundsman's doing a fantastic job. But reality is, with the amount of games we're having each day, the pitch is getting drier and a little bit more worn. So the spin bowlers and the slow bowlers are probably going to get a bit more grip. Wales certainly had that. I think virtually every bowler bar one was an off spinner. So, and they looked to try and take the pace off. So we had to make all the pace. So, but I thought we played well. They got a little bit close at the end there. So credit to Wales. They kind of hung in there and showed a bit of character. But it was important that we got the win today and kind of kickstart our week.
Great, mate. Well done, hey. Great to see Australia get over the line. Need a strong Australian team, don't we? So look forward to the next game tomorrow.
Thanks, mate.